64 players from across the world did battle over 2 days, and we narrowed it down to just 12 remaining to figure out who will be joining the group stage here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. That means we are left with 24 of the world-class players and competitors here to bring us all the action for the StarCraft tournament. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the analysis desk. I'm Kyle Laris, your host, and joining me on the desk to start things off for the day, we will have Mr. Rotterdam and Todd bringing us some of the action as things continue on. So far, though, boys, a warm welcome. Thank you very much for joining me here. We did have those open brackets, and overall, we had some fantastic games with not too many surprises, but a few here and there.
Yeah, PvP definitely the biggest surprise, I think, here in this tournament. I don't think going to it, really too many people expected it to do so well, and that's the beauty about this kind of format, is that you're going to have some players that you don't particularly expect that much from, and that are going to surprise everybody, beat some very strong players in a row, and really make a name for themselves on the international scene here in one of the biggest tournaments of the year.
Yeah, we saw a couple of the more established names making it out of their bracket. Obviously, happy to see some of the players make it out as well. Mana was not an easy call because he had a tough bracket, but he did manage to squeeze in. Unfortunately for him, he got a super tough group tomorrow. But we also saw herO advance. We already saw a little trailer. I really enjoyed the first 2 days, James. I think we had a couple of good games, but we also know that it's going to be so much better today and tomorrow.
Yes, yes, we do. If anything like the Korean games that we saw in that group where we had about 5 Koreans is to go by, the games that we're going to have throughout today and tomorrow are going to be fantastic for the group stage. Let's check in with the groups, in fact, see exactly how things are going to be ran down as a whole. Group A looks like this. It's going to be Beyond, Solar, and herO coming through the online qualifiers, then herO Marine, herYoung, and Snute to join them. Let's move on to Group B, and we can talk about these in just a little bit. It's going to be Neeb, TY, and the Live coming from the online qualifiers. Stats, herStum, and JackG join them from the open. So let's talk about these groups just a little bit before we get things rolling. Group A, obviously, having such a wealth of experience in it with these guys in, like Beyond, the current reigning world champion. What do you make of Group B, A, guys? Who do you like?
I like Beyond. I mean, I've been a fan of Beyond for quite some time, even before he won the GSL. I mean, obviously many people have. He's been around for so long.
Yeah.
I love watching him. He's special. He's got that X factor. He really, when he's feeling it, when he's playing his absolute best, it's unreal what this man can do. He can destroy your dreams as well. I've been there. Like, it's amazing to watch Beyond. And it's also really cool to see him go up against herYoung. Again, herYoung beat him in GSL Codes, round of 32. But I still feel, even though a lot of people say, like, herYoung's TVT is really good and he's always going to be the favorite, you know, through their lifetime, like, Beyond has like a 19-5 win record in series over him. I love Beyond. It's a great group, but Beyond is my man.
Group B, Todd, with Neeb, TY alive, Stats, herStum, and JackG in there. A lot of PvT coming at us. What really stands out for you in Group B?
I feel like it's very open in terms of who might be able to make it out. Like, there are some groups where it feels like it's very clear, but very stacked. Like, there's going to be a lot of good TVPs that I'm looking forward to from that group, and it's going to be a cracker, I'm sure, KLI.
Probably.
You know what's also really fun about Group B, Kalaris, is that there's been a lot of talk lately about the Terran versus Protoss matchup. For a while, all the Protoss players said, like, we can't win, you know, it's literally impossible. And then the Liberator got changed. And on paper, these changes always look kind of small. It's like, well, you know, now they 3-shot stalkers. What does this really do? But I've noticed myself, and I think a lot of other Protoss players out there, that especially when it comes to harass, Liberator harass is pretty much non-existent now because it's so easy.
Right.
Just walk your stalkers in, and even if the contain is there, in the old days, if you would walk into a contain, it's over. I think these days it's a lot more viable for Protoss to sometimes still try to break some sort of a contain. I think after today we have a lot more answers about the state of PvT.
Yeah, definitely. There's some great players in that group. Let's take a look now at today's schedule, the games that are going to be coming along for us here for the main stage, of course, as we will start things with herO versus Snute. Then going down the line, we're getting a lot of herO by the looks of things. herO versus herYoung and Beyond versus herO. Then Beyond versus Snute. The final game, though, is a temporary placeholder. Depending on the results of Group A, there may be some more important matches that determine some of the higher seeding in that group then going into the bracket later on. So that one is tentative for now. But overall, guys, that's a pretty good schedule of games, I would say.
Absolutely, and they have already started, actually. Here we got 2 games that we've got going on these laptops, in which I'm following Solar herO Marine. I will keep you guys posted on that. Right now, we're in the middle of game number 1. herO Marine is actually doing pretty good. And on the Roddy screen, I see that Ryong is as well. Like, not necessarily the guys that we would have predicted will win these matches.
Right.
I'm glad we didn't do any predictions yet, because we would have been 0-2.
That's true. That's a great point that you bring up, though, because once again, throughout the entire of today, we're going to be watching a lot of the games that are going on here at the desk as well and keeping you informed at home. For now, though, let's check in with a familiar face who's down in the tournament area. It's Smix.
Hey guys, and welcome to the new tournament area for StarCraft II here at the IEM Katowice. Now, as you guys can tell, this is like a completely new setup than what we had for the open bracket, and we have the 24 players from all 4 groups randomly dispersed around this area. And I'm whispering because we actually have some games currently live at this very moment, as herO is just playing against Bjorn, and we have Patience to my left, so there's a lot of games going on, so I don't want to be too loud, but as I just mentioned, we have 24 players, and by the end of tomorrow we'll be down to just 12. And of course, something worth keeping in note is that 12 of these players are some that we're seeing for the first time live, as they already qualified through the online qualifiers, so it's bound to be really, really tough competition. Now, of course, we have a lot of games to go through, a lot of groups to go through, but for now, let's start with Group A.
Bjorn is still the defending world champion. He just won a GSL at the end of last year. I think that this guy is still one of the favorites of any tournament he goes into. So Bjorn would have to be my pick to probably be the winner of Group A. herO is just doing fantastically recently. He's so strong against Terran. He's rock solid in the other 2 matchups as well. So I expect for herO to do quite well. herO is killing it in TBT, and there are a lot of Terrans in this group, so I feel like he should be able to make it into those top spots.
That's right, we do have 15 series in total that are going to be occurring here in Group A, unless, of course, there do end up being tiebreakers down the line. We'll inform you of those things a little bit later on, if they do occur. But for now, we start things out, gentlemen, with herO going up against Snute. These 2 players are the most storied players in the entirety of the Intel Extreme Masters. Snute has been to many, 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 and obviously herO has won many, many, many. He always gets top spots. This couldn't be a better game to open things up.
Yeah, it's a crazy good game. I think between these 2, even just the build-up, like they've got history, not just in the Intel Extreme Masters, but against one another. Stylistically, it's an interesting matchup. We've seen interesting things from both players recently. herO, though, he qualified in a much more impressive way, in my opinion. He beat Innovation and herO in the online qualifiers to make sure he was going to be here in the group stage, where Snute had to go through through those brackets earlier. So I guess he got a little bit of a warm-up recently, but not been as impressive.
Yeah, it's interesting. A very fun best of 3 for me. Obviously, I always love watching Snute, and I think all the Europeans do. And you never know which Snute comes to the table. In a couple of tournaments, I really hyped up Snute, and I really believed that we're going to see that Snute that will be able to take out those Koreans, and then it didn't happen. Today, I don't have a particularly strong feeling whether he's going to succeed or fail. It's kind of up in the air. I really think it just depends how he feels, how strong he stays mentally. herO, on the other hand, like herO has been posting a couple of good results lately, and some people will even go immediately as far to say, best pros in the world, you know? Like, and it's like, if you look at the games, I don't know. Like, I feel in the old days, herO was a very solid player who relied a lot on his micro, but he obviously had very, like, well fine-tuned builds, and everything was solid across the board. These days, it's a lot of adapts, a lot of phoenixes, and half the time I feel that even in the middle of the game, he's just like, I could add 5 extra gates. I should add 5 extra gates. And then he just goes for it. And I feel like these aren't really super solid plans. It works.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's see. Like, I'll gladly be wrong, and maybe herO suddenly dominates his group, goes 4-1 or 5-0. It's one of the things I love most about this format, by the way. Like, it's not a 4-man group where you can get 2 best of 3 wins, 2-1, 2-1, and suddenly you look like God because you won the group. But in the end, you know, you won 4 maps, you lost 2. You got to beat everybody here. 5 best of 3s for all these guys. It's going to be cool, man. I want to see who can go 5-0 in this format.
Make no mistake about it. His cute looks and his yawn doesn't mean that he's not going to be playing his A game here. Roddy mentioned the Phoenix Adept, and that's what he's relied in some of his recent matches. I think just last week he was playing in the Ting Open, and he used that quite a bit, very effectively, but he's also capable of mixing in a lot of different builds, some Robo first into some big pushes with a lot of force fields. We've seen him go Kyers on maps like Cactus Valley. I spoke with Snute, he did his research, he told me he has a very clear game plan, and he expects some Phoenix Adepts, in which case he's going to be prepared.
Yeah, I actually think that Snute in general is always good against those weird Protoss builds. Any build that relies on doing a lot of damage against Snute, I always feel that Snute is like this brick wall that won't crumble against builds like that. I think Snute gets annoyed when he goes up against the Protoss that opens very safe with a Stargate, the Oracle for some guaranteed damage, sit back, Archon, Immortal, Photon Overcharge. I think that's what Snute hates, because then he has to be the aggressor. But when it comes to Snute reacting to stuff, I generally believe he's one of the best in the world.
herO's not unfamiliar with this setting. Even more famously, in Katowice, actually lost 100,000 in a grand final here one time. Is he hungry for it here? Does Katowice mean a lot to herO, do you think?
Absolutely, especially with, you know, there's not as much tournaments these days. I'm sure herO wants to leave his mark here. He's been training very hard for this, and we'll see if it shows. Hopefully it does, because he's one of those players that has the means to take it all the way, I think. All
right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll be checking in with your series down the line. For now, though, we're going to head over to the caster's desk to start series number 1 here for day 3. It's herO versus Snute. Take it away, boys.
G'day, guys. It is day 3 for the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice. I am Maynard, with me is Pig, and we are very excited for this PvZ to start off Group A. Every match that we've got lined up is incredible. This tournament, this round of 24, it's as good as it gets.
The whole group is just insane. The fact that some of these matches have to be off stream, I'm like, I wish we could show them all, but this entire tournament is just incredibly stacked, and we've been sneakily watching some of the other games as they progress in the background, but this one is actually very important as well, as they all are. But I think a lot of people coming in here are saying, you know, herO's the favorite, he's on fire right now, but I really like what Roddy said there about Snute's a brick wall against that aggression sometimes. You know, maybe overall Snute hasn't been taking down the likes of Innovation the way herO has, but when their styles clash, I think this is going to be a really interesting match.
It does seem like it's going to be aggression versus a brick wall, and whether, you know, unstoppable force, immovable object, which one's going to break first. And these two have such a storied history against each other. A lot of it actually in the Intel Extreme Masters circuit.
Oh yeah, so going all the way back to New York.
All the way back. And in the bottom right here, from Team OSC Root, it is herO.
Looking very focused, of course, qualified right through to this stage. So this is his first tournament match here in Katowice. However, his opponent up here has already had a chance to warm up in the earlier the earlier qualifying stage. Representing Team Liquid, it is Snute.
Rocking the big jersey, which worked out so well for him and Thermal. Game in 1 has begun. Let all your friends know. And also, as we touched on a little bit before, with a lot of these games going on at the same time, keep an eye on those other streams, even the other language streams. You will be able to see the gameplay, even if you don't understand the language. Definitely worth checking it out. So do not miss. Can multi-stream, multi-twitch, whatever takes your fancy, whatever floats your boat. But make sure the main stream is open, because we have got good games all day long.
Yep, there is going to be a lot of action, and starting out here on Palladino Terminal is going to be very interesting. This is the shortest rush distance in the current map pool. herO already going for that low ground wall in, which I do love to see, but Snute here, interestingly enough, was just going for a regular 17 hatch first. It was blocked by herO's probe, and he went to take that third, but it was quite delayed on 19 supply. So a little bit odd that Snute didn't send that drone out ahead of time to check, or just go for the gas pool opening. Yeah. This is going to give herO a little opportunity with his first adept to maybe poke around and be annoying, but beyond that, of course, it just will be very standard fare. Of course, both players have to watch out for aggression on this map. This wall in here is going to have 2 very weak points around those pylons, so if Snute does turn up the aggression, he may be able to bust his way through there with Ravagers or Banelings. Absolutely.
It's a bit of an awkward wall as far as maps go. It's, you know, some players like to sort of fill in these 2 little chokes going to the natural. Some like to pull it back closer to their command structure, whether it's a Nexus hatchery or a CC. And with this third hatchery all the way over here, obviously the creep spread's pretty atrocious between the main and here. So it's very, very easy for a Protoss, if he was, say, going for a glaive timing, could do a lot of damage to that third hatchery before Snute could get those queens down the defense. It makes things a little bit awkward for the Norwegian Circuit at the start. We are seeing just a couple of depths coming out. It looks relatively standard here. The Twilight Council coming down. A lot of this, it turns into a lot of things we see quite often in this matchup.
Interestingly, the Zerglings were delayed a little bit by Snute, so I am wondering if this Adept is going to try and actually delay that third base from going down. Snute so far has pulled off gas. He's not going to be going for Overlord speed. He's just put back on gas at this moment, so really focusing on his mineral income. This Adept's going to come in. It's using the Shade, so this is a sort of risk-free commitment here. He's going to Shade on behind that, get out of there. Good micro from both players, and he's just going to see the good drone count on the third base. That tells herO there's no all-in coming. He sees the natural go down there as well. And he says, okay, you're just doing some standard stuff, and he's going to go on up into those Adepts. It looks like Adept Phoenix.
Yep.
What Snute was expecting. This is what the plan seems to be.
All right, and Snute's going to go for the Roach Warren here. So Roach is on the menu for the Zerg. And yeah, with the, kind of expected this to see those glaives going down, extra gateways going down. Robo as well for the reinforcement.
Ah, interesting. Robo, because, that's definitely not a Phoenix transition. Then could be a very fast Warp Prism, maybe even just going up to 7 or 8 gateways and like a mass Adept attack. Of course, could always transition to a third base as well. Interestingly, the Roach Warren is already done for Snute, and he's already starting up Roach production insanely early. But this is a great adjustment because Palladino is such a short rush distance. He's going to want to get out into the middle of the map and stop those Adepts before they get over to his bases. So this is a really interesting way Snute's going to play this. It looks like it will just be drones behind that, not going to commit to the aggression.
Yeah, seeing those 2 drones, or 3 drones now coming out here for Snute for that new batch of lava does confirm that the Roaches are basically just for defense at this point. He could have made Ravages, could have gone across the map, like Pigs mentioned a couple times. Very, very short rush distance. Always waiting in the mist here, hiding in the smoke, waiting to ambush these unsuspecting units of herO. Ling's seeing ahead of time. The Roach is coming down. A pre-shade from herO, though, can get these Adepts out of hot water very easily.
Is he going to commit to it? There are some units back there. No, he's not. So here, good zoning by Snute. He's already got the double tumors heading out from the natural. He's starting to push back these Adepts. But look at that production tab. 5 more gateways on the way. A whole lot of Adepts. Snute has no vision of this right now. Does he realize there's a Warp Prism and a massive Adepts coming up? And it's even got a Dark Templar follow-up. If this doesn't work, Snute needs to build nothing but Roaches from here.
Yeah, just units is the point here. And he is actually making some Lings, but 6 Roaches is about as many as he can make, apart from those Lings there. And this is going to be a huge Adept army from herO, probably with an Archon and will DT into Archon harassment as well. With this big army of Adepts to support that, that's going to be very tough for Snute to hold. Losing 1 Roach immediately here. He cancels the Shade, coming into this natural, which is at the 3rd location, and Snute's units are coming down to engage.
The drones are exposed. Good pull by Snute, but he has already lost the Queen, or it's already losing 3 drones. The Roaches are there. They're trying to split from Snute. herO doesn't commit. He's just going to start focusing down that hatchery, and it is losing hit points so quickly right now. Adepts are in the natural at the same time. Drones are falling rapidly right now.
Oh, man.
Everything is going to hell in a handbasket for Snute. He just can't get on top of the mobility of these Adepts.
The Adepts have split up into the main and to the second hatchery pick. 20 drones and counting going down here for Snute, and herO's just gonna shade ahead here. Even if these Adepts in the main go down, he can retreat with what he has and be very happy with that damage.
That's a huge lead for herO. He's got the Robo behind this. Now the DT's coming in. The Warp Prism does get sniped off there.
But he's gonna get the hatchery with the DTs. This is absolutely gonna go down here, and that is making things from bad to worse here for Snute.
I mean, Snute's got to go all in, but he can't even clean up these Adepts. How does he get across the map? They're just going to start focusing down every single Zergling. They all disappear. Even the Spine Crawler looks like it's almost going to fall. The Adepts can start to walk their way home. Immortals in production behind this.
And these DTs pulling out after killing a hatchery and getting 4 more drones here. And why not take out some Creep Tumor at the same time? herO is all over Snute here with the first game. GG! herO takes a 1-0 lead in this best of 3.
It's an old one, but it's a good one. The mass Adept attack there from herO. He really is the most chaotic and difficult player to play against because he just has so many options up his sleeve. And this isn't something that herO is just doing against Snute. He does this sort of crazy aggression against every single player he plays against. He just recently barely didn't make it to the top 4 of the GSL, narrowly lost there to SOS, but even in his PvPs, his PvTs, it's all just mad, crazy aggression. It's all about the micro, the positioning, the tactics, and Snute was just caught slightly underprepared there.
All right, well, game one is in the books, and we're going to go straight to the analysis desk with the guys to see what's happening in the other games and what they thought of this one.
Swift game from herO there to start things off, but we do have other games going on currently here at the desk. Rotterdam, you are currently in Bjorn versus ryong, with ryong 1 game up, right?
Yep, my fanboy heart is bleeding a little bit, James. As you can take a look at the game number 2 that's being played currently on Cactus Valley, but things are not looking good for the reigning WCS Global Champion, as he's already down 0-1, like you said, and he's down 50-60 supply here as well. It seems like he wants to be aggressive. He's just been behind in upgrades for the majority of the game. They're even in upgrades right now, but this game got decided by a couple of massive fights where ryong had 2-2, Bjorn had 1-1. I mean, Bjorn is still sort of in it, but he's down a lot. I mean, I'm looking at the supply, Todd, and things are not looking good.
It's just a matter of time by the looks of
The first one out of the way.
All right, well, thank you very much, Roddy. So now heading over to Laptop 1 now with Todd. You're currently in Solar versus Marine, correct? And
herO Marine is up 1-0. He won on Nuclear Precinct, no less. And right now they're playing on Proxima Station. herO Marine opened with quite a few Liberators and Hellions, was able to do some okay damage, and now they're even on supply. There was just a big attack that happened from herO Marine that didn't do very much. He was pushed back, and now we're going to enter that Hive Tech with Ultras and all that. It's still an even game, I would say, but herO Marine needs to be careful because Solar has been left undisturbed for a long time. Like, his defense has been there, like you see on the side of the map. He's pretty much all set. And heading into Ultras, this is going to get very scary real soon here for herO Marine, even though he's taking his 4th place himself.
herO Marine, though, holding his own against Solar. What a start for him.
And on Newkirk City Precinct as well, a couple of the other Terrans I spoke with this weekend said, like, have you ever played on that map? It's impossible. So the fact that he wins that one, I mean, obviously the series is not over yet, but that's a very, very impressive start by the German. I mean, taking 1-0 lead over Solar and even holding his own as well in game 2.
He's got a big supply lead in that game right now.
Perfect.
My series ended, by the way. ryong did take it 2-0. I mean, it was pretty much over. Surprising. I mean, I don't know, there's always 3 people out there that will say, it's not surprising. ryong is the best TVT player in the world. How does he not know that? It's like, no, I do know that he's very good in TVT, guys. But like throughout their match history, you know, Bjorn has like a 19-5 lead over ryong. And I still felt that Bjorn was absolutely ready to dominate, but wasn't meant to be.
I wonder if we can go back to Laptop 1 with Todd just for a moment here, because I think you found something.
Yeah, it looked like there was going to be a big push, but as I wanted to go back to it, he kind of slowed down a little bit. I thought this could be important because herO Marine has a nice supply lead, but he's going to take his time, looks like.
Well, okay, never mind. I almost got into caster mode there for a moment. Okay, thank you very much, Todd. We'll check in with you after the next game, hopefully, and see what has gone on as things continue. For now, though, we're going to head back to the caster squad as we get into herO versus Snute, game number 2.
What up, boys? Welcome back to the caster squad here. Maynard and Pig keeping it real in Poland, in Katowice here.
I always wanted to be a part of a caster squad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be. You can. Which one of us is the leader of the squad, though?
If there's a caster squad, I think Tasteless is definitely the leader.
We're all just his lackeys then.
We are, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're like an evil squad then in that case. Anyway, enough random banter aside. The next map is going to be Abyssal Reef, the map which we seem to see in every single series, and it's not because the players enjoy the physics, because they usually play with those turned off, but I know we definitely do when we're watching it. And something we've seen a lot over the last couple of days has been a lot of brutal pushes abusing the choke points and ledges on this map.
Yeah, a lot of really abusable terrain for Abyssal Reef, which is part of the reason why a lot of Terrans love it, including myself. And it's going to be a pretty interesting one. I kind of feel like it's a map that herO's going to have a really good time with versus Snute. So if I was a betting man, which I am, I would put a little bit of cash to say that herO's going to 2-0 here. We will see. Time will tell.
We are going into game right now here on Abyssal Reef. Of course, taking a quick Game 1 victory there on Palladino Terminal and finding himself on another quite aggressive map. The blue Protoss player representing OSC Root, it is herO.
The smiling assassin does not smile when it's business time. And in the bottom right here, from Team Liquid, this is Snute. Jens Asgard, one of my favorite people and favorite players in the history of this game.
Yeah, always someone who I look up to, one of the hardest working, most consistent players. one of the smartest players, someone who, whenever he has an issue with a matchup, with a style, he's always one to sit down and just think about the game and practice hour upon hour until he figures out how to solve that problem. And interesting opening here for herO, Maynard.
You know, we were all flying the aggression flags, and herO's like, you know what? I'm going to be a greedy boy. I'm going to get myself a Nexus straight away.
You know what's really weird as well is he's gone the gateway in the main. So this way, I guess he's trying to play it a little bit safe in case there is an early pull. The gateway won't just automatically go down because he can pull his probes closer. That will slow down his wall off at the natural. And in the past, usually we've seen Nexus first going into DT drop and Archon drop openings. However, herO is a just crazy guy. I mean, I'm thinking back to the early days of Legacy of the Void where he would make Stalkers and just be dropping them. You know, he'd go for like 2 base blink timings with Zealots and no sentries, all completely weird play styles. So off the back of this, you never know what to expect. And interestingly, Snute is one of these guys, he doesn't go for Overlord speed very much. He doesn't go for that, let's see everything that's coming. And I think against someone like herO, who's just so wild in his diversification of strategies, it's kind of dangerous for Snute.
Yeah, scouting always seems like a priority. Like he's not a laser or a dark or someone that loves getting pneumatized carapace with their speed. Almost like it's not always their first 100 gas, but it's their second 100 gas that goes into Overlord speed. It's that important to certain players. But Snute just going to rely on slow Overlords here, getting Ling speed in his first couple Zerglings out while droning and queening behind this. He does see the Nexus already saturated here for herO with, you know, a good handful of probes. So.
Oh, 2 Stalkers actually coming on the way first for herO. This is really cool. So he's going to be able to deny scouting, put in a bit of pressure, and kind of just freak Snute out a little bit. Meanwhile, going for a Stargate behind that. Very curious to see what this is going to lead into. These 2 Zerglings, looks like they're going to get in there just barely in time. They will see that Stargate. That's a very nice scout for Snute. However, I'm still not really sure what's going to be coming out of that Stargate. So very curious. herO is a madman.
What a
mind game.
What a god. Look at this kid.
I think we'll
see if this pays off. Snute's making a bunch of Lings here, actually, and he looks like he wants to try and press the issue.
This is a really good decision. No wall off on the natural. Keep in mind this is a bit of an awkward wall to finish up, and he saw 2 Stalkers first. Stalkers have terrible damage output against Zerglings, so it really will all rely on herO managing to hold on again with this wall. Snute's had a bit of success recently against players like DNS with this sort of Ling timing. It's not all in. He's going to drone up behind it, but actually the wall in isn't even going to be ready.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
This is going to look pretty good for Snute here as these Lings come and knocking. They're going to go around the 3rd location, giving herO... Oh, just in time!
He actually diverted Snute, assumed the wall would be up, but I think these gateways... He's
going to break it anyway.
Yeah, he's just going to get in on top of this. Stalkers and probes, no match for 20 Speedlings. These units are going to go down so fast. The Mothership Core has only just started production. He cancelled his 2 Adepts that he had building as well. Oh, herO is in so much trouble right now.
Being punished hard for his greed here by the Norwegian Zerg. Snute is tearing apart the probe line. He's in the main, splitting off the Lings to get this around on the probe ball here of herO. Some hold position micro to make sure he gets as much damage as possible. herO scrambling his defenses. The Mothership Core is out, overcharged, going down on that pylon, and a couple of Depths going to shoo away the Lings. But 11 probes killed.
That is massive. 11 probes, all that mining time, 2 Stalkers going down, and Snute sees everything that's going on. Behind this, he's droning up. He's got his Roach Warren on the way. Everything is in Snute's hands right now. I mean, I can't imagine what herO can do to get back into this. He's going to get a Warp Prism. I'm not sure if Glaive's finished up or he cancelled it just there.
No, he cancelled it, okay. So just Warp Gate here for herO and going to try and get some damage done across the map. He absolutely needs to hit into Snute's economy and slow him down somehow because Snute's follow-up is going to be too powerful for him to stop otherwise. Looks like he wants to drop this 3rd Nexus here.
That's got to be a fake. There's no way he's committing to that. He's got a bunch of gateways, and he's not building upgrades. He's building Zealots and Adepts. He's going for a 1 Immortal all-in push right now. herO just, he knows he's so far behind. He's got to do something. He's hoping that that probe there can fake Snute out. But Snute right now, he's building...
He's making a lot of drones.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if he had map vision of this. Snute is a little bit underprepared. He's got a couple of Roaches out. He needs more Roaches out right now, being a little bit cavalier with his economy.
Yep. 14 Lings on the way now. He squeezed out some roaches. We'll see if this makes all the difference here for herO. Shading in these adepts into the main, and he does let the shade finish. Snute has units here, not a ton of units, and the follow-up is coming down with these Immortals. The wall of Snute is trying to get up, but he cannot finish it. The Immortal is doing so much damage.
Zerglings actually do kind of okay against these adepts since they don't have the Glaives upgrade, but he really needs the numbers. He needs everything together, and there's just not that many roaches yet.
Oh, the Zealots.
The Zealots have great raw damage up with the Queens. Focus fire on the Warp
Oh!
Prism. The Warp Prism goes down, and that will be the end of the reinforcements for herO. Snute needs to hang on. He's starting to overwhelm that one Immortal in the back, dishing out so much damage, but the drones are pulled off the line, and Snute looks like he holds it with flying colors.
Beautiful hold here from Snute, and he is largely in charge for game 2 to tie this up. GG! Gonna go to game 3 between these two players. Such a history between them. I remember games back in like the Intel Extreme Masters, Toronto even. I remember casting B-Stream between these two players, like a 2-hour-long Swarm Host Mass Air series that Zeph and I casted a long, long time ago. Snute and herO is such a great rivalry, one that kind of flies under the radar versus a lot of people, but they absolutely have, they've met each other at so many important tournaments and so many important series, and the round of 24 here in Intel Extreme Masters Katowice is just no different.
It's really funny. We've seen two very one-sided games so far. One game, herO just knocked him over with a very quick all-in attack, and this other game, Snute going for a very clever pressure there, just gains a massive advantage for himself and pushes herO into a desperate all-in, which he defends easily.
All right, and it looks like we're desk with the guys here to talk about the other games that have been going on.
Thank you very much, gents. All right, so yeah, we did have actually 2-2-0s currently going on the desk as well, whilst this 1-1 is currently incurring. Todd, though, you had the final fight of that series, and what a result.
Well, yeah, herO Marine, after winning game number 1 on Nuclear Precinct, let's jump into our laptop here and take a look at that last fight. I was wondering why he wasn't attacking faster, because Solar was closing in on Ultras. I mentioned that as well, and in my mind, herO Marine was supposed to attack very fast. So let's go into it and I'll explain you guys what is going on. We've got... Let's go, guys. Yeah. We've got these upgrades about to finish here on the right-hand side, as you can see, 3-3. That's why I think he was waiting.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you look at the production tab, actually, he was timing perfectly when these Ultras, chitinous plating and stuff was going to finish, and he actually attacked before that. So now this is the moment where herO Marine actually moves in that position and properly engages into this. He has all these siege units behind, so he's just going to escort basically the Marines here to simply go forward and make sure he can get cost-effective fights, not get his entire army fungal, because that's the big threat as well. Even though you scan here, actually sniping these infestors is very, very hard. So now you see even he pulled back there for a second because he was afraid a big fungal would land. If he snipes this base before the fight begins, he's won the game basically, because he will have much more economy. So Solar has to fight here.
Yeah.
He takes a very unfavorable fight before the Ultras that he was making were there, before he had enough Banelings, before fungal could land. And herO Marine just basically powered through from there and won 2-0.
Wow, what a result for herO Marine to start things off in this group. That's fantastic.
That's a crazy upset. A lot of people thought he wasn't even going to get maybe like 10-0 or maybe take a map, you know.
Yeah.
Like, well, first series, 2-0. That's awesome for him. Obviously, still anybody's game in that group now.
Yeah, you know, Solar to qualify for this tournament, he beats herO, Bjorn, and Bjol.
Right.
Like, don't really get any better than this. He's like, guys, like, I'm ready to win the tournament, but no. herO Marine puts a stop to the hype, and as a reward, he's going to face Bjorn next.
Imagine if he goes on through down the line here in this group. That would be a big shake-up. But Rotterdam, you also had Bjorn versus Ryung. Do you want to sum up what happened?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much went over it already, so I'm going to keep it short. There is no like one key moment in the replay, but Ryung was just impressive in a way that he's often impressive in TVT. Enough tanks to survive. You know, doesn't really do anything crazy early on. No crazy arrest, no crazy opening build order. No, he just sat back. Bjorn had all the map control, but Ryung was okay with it because he's like, I've got upgrades. And the moment that he had 2-2, that's truly where the difference was made. So once again, he just displayed an incredibly high understanding of TVT.
All right, 1-1 currently in the series that we're in at the moment here between Snute and herO. We can head on back to that series to find out who is going to win.
And we are so pumped to see how this one turns out, Pig. So many people have been saying that herO's just going to crush Snute here. He's been in so much form. He's beaten the likes of Bjol to make it to this tournament. Was, you know, a contender for the best Zerg in the world at one point. And Snute, you know, he has been the best foreigner in the world at one point. A lot of people would say maybe not right now, but he's up against herO, who has been really crushing it back into form when he had that bit of a lull towards the end of Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, it's really funny, you know, because both players have such history, both against each other and in general in StarCraft II. And I mean, just looking at how herO plays, it's so funny because he creates these weird games. He can play the best players in Korea and just bop them. Because how herO plays is, I'm going to get crazy aggressive, I'm going to get in your face. Half the time you will have never seen the build I'm doing because it's absolute madness. I mean, we've actually seen vaguely standard play out of him this series compared to what he throws out sometimes. But it's going to be game number 3 going into Newkirk Precinct.
That's right. And in the bottom right, the smiling assassin himself. This is OSC Roots herO.
Facing off against him in the bottom left-hand side, representing Team Liquid, the most consistent foreigner of all time, it is Snute.
Both of these players do stream on Twitch now, and I really, really love, I'm a big fan, I obviously follow them both, and I love watching herO stream. He's been doing a really good job at trying to interact with foreign fans as well, and when he comes along to his Twitch chat. He's a really, really lovable guy. He's always very friendly. And Snute's stream, I love his stream because he is so intelligent, like you say, and he talks about every decision that he makes. Actually, my favorite kind of StarCraft streamer is someone that's awesome, insanely high level, like yourself, Big. You're pretty good too. And
nowhere near Snute.
I'm being nice, but you know, he always talks about his decisions. People in chat will ask him questions, you know, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why go for this build against this? It doesn't make sense. And he'll explain it in a way that's so clear for people, even for people that are, you know, mediocre at the game or intermediate in the game. And that is my favorite kind of streamer. So definitely check him out on Twitch if you don't already.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys in the scene who does take time to talk to other players, explain things, and really talk about the game. A big part of it is understanding it. Of course, herO here as well. Going to be going for that Nexus first once again here, but he's got the low ground wall off. We'll be able to seal everything up a little bit quicker. Doesn't want 2 Zerglings just waltzing into his base and spotting what's going on like last game.
Something tells me there won't be Stalkers coming out of these gateways.
Never say never, Maynard.
Never say never.
herO's a madman. He's got so many cool builds. Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget early in like last year where he did a build where he got out a really fast Warp Prism and 4 Stalkers, and his whole job was to just chase Overlords. He just like went around the map hunting Overlords, and you're like, this is the most inefficient way to kill Overlords ever. But it like segued into this beautiful 2-base Blink Stalker timing and totally caught his opponent unaware. So I really love some of the creativity that he does throw out there. Of course, this is a long map across, not a very short rush distance.
Yeah, and herO coming in here looking like he might Polearm bop.
Oh, the Zerglings actually haven't come up here to clear this base out. Big mistake there. Snute's going to have to, change his drone and go back towards the other third. Not sure if he wanted to do that. This third base here, he's got to get it down. There we go.
Yep, getting it down the front.
It's going to be a lot quicker for herO to push in there, but it's also going to be much quicker for Snute to get there to defend it. It's not as spread out. So maybe a little bit more solid against something like Phoenix Adept.
Could very well be on the menu here. Snute coming in and seeing the Twilight Council and the 2 Adepts coming out of these gateways. So it's pretty much it's looking very, very similar to the build on game number 1 here between Snute and herO. And herO coming into the main to see what's up with his probe.
Yeah, get out of there, probe. I think that's what... Okay, Snute's getting rid of that bit of vision now. He's like, all right. You're not going to see everything from now on, but hey, it's Snute. He does the same thing most games anyway. Pulls off gas, focuses on his minerals, gets out a few Zerglings, and once again, that really fast Roach Warren that we saw on Palladino Terminal. So looks like Snute has a very well-prepared response, which he thinks is ideal against these Glaive Adept into Phoenix openings. Good defense. Only loses a single Zergling. A fingal Zergling.
And I think we're going to see some Phoenixes out of these Starcade epic. So, you know, we have seen, Roddy's brought it up, we've brought it up as well. Phoenix Adept is a unit composition that herO really, really loves. It's quite standard, it's been around for a very long time, but he does it so well that he can just win games anyway, even if you know it's coming. Yeah. Snute's powering those drones through now, not overcommitting to an army or anything like that. So.
Interestingly, this was single Stargate, right? Not double Stargate, so it is a very fast Oracle. I don't think the Zerglings saw that. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. Observer is going to check that for us. No, didn't quite get up there.
Nice.
So that's actually very, very nice. So normally you'll see a player open up with a fast Oracle, and then a few Adepts will join up with it later. But this looks just like a normal fast Adept opening. And this makes the Oracle much more of a surprise. It's definitely not something that is on Snute's radar right now. This could catch him with a big surprise.
Second Oracle coming out now as well. I mean, herO, DNS, a couple of the Protoss players definitely love doing this in PvZ that we've seen at this tournament.
They do it in a different order, though, so I think Snute might be caught off guard by this. He's going to need to react very calmly. Roaches are in position. Good cancel there by herO, but the Oracle's going to hit the main. Only a single queen in position. Spore Crawler has started, but it's not ready yet. The drone micro is decent, but he's going to lose a bunch of these drones no matter what. Second queen gets up there. There we go. Does chase that Oracle out. And the Adepts at the same time, are they going to commit? I don't think so. Good roach control here from Snute. He's going to chase off these Adepts. So far, not a bad defense. Only 5 drone losses. That's actually really decent for Snute.
Yeah, considering the committal of herO here, I mean, the second Oracle is joining in and they can burn through mineral lines like a hot knife through butter. We'll see how Snute's defense goes. It was pretty decent for the first wave here, but herO is not done yet. The Adepts are just poised here at the 3rd location of Snute with a Void Ray follow-up. Void Ray is obviously very, very good if there's a Roach Ravager counterattack, and obviously not too bad on the offense either. Yeah,
here come these Adepts. There's a lot of Adepts. The Roach count is a little low right now.
I love this from herO.
Oh, tricky Stasis Trap does get set off there by 2 Zerglings. Roaches are on top of the ramp. Good positioning by Snute. He's dealing with this really well. Another Stasis Trap goes off, only catching a few Zerglings once again. So far, Snute is defending this really well, but those Adepts, they're going to get on the drones in that 3rd mineral line. Those drones need to get out of there.
Yeah.
8, 9 drones fall instantly. 14 drones go down. Massive kills there for herO.
And now we're in a situation where the Protoss is sitting on 52 workers versus the 37 of the Zerg. Not a situation you want to be in as a Zerg on 3 bases, trying to get a 4th. You want to be able to get those minerals. You need that income, and he has to make drones now to recover. Meanwhile, herO, he's powering up for his next level. He's getting 3 gateways, the Robo halfway done, and Blink is on the menu as well with +1.
A lot of sentries in production as well, which makes me think herO wants to do another push very early. This really is herO's style. He wants to keep attacking. Even in the games where he's gone up to 3 bases recently against players like Solar and Biel, he's always attacking, constantly getting out of the map, using force fields, using the mid-game composition to push his advantages. So Snute, luckily, he's got a lot of roaches left over from that early game. They will come in handy, but the worker differential is just so huge right now.
Snute's dropping like 7 or 8 drones at a time out of his lava to resaturate these mineral lines from after the damage that he took from that first attack from herO, or I guess the second attack. And he's still 14 workers down on the Protoss.
I love those 2 Adepts that are working their way along the north side of the map. They're just going to bide their time. 4 Adepts, actually. And he's going to try and shade into the natural and the 3rd at the exact same moment. If Snute isn't ready for it, he could lose another 10 or 12 workers to this.
Yeah, could be seeing some more stasis play as well. Couple Adepts, just 1 volley of 2 Adepts kills a worker. And that's all he needs. He is definitely going to get some drones here.
This is massive. Such a nice maneuver from herO. This is something Protoss players have gotten so good about recently. So many workers going down. The Zerglings, of course, were out on the map threatening. They weren't able to get back here very quickly.
Another 13 drones dead.
Oh, that's terrible for Snute right now.
Yeah, Queen targeting this very hurt Oracle, that herO does get it out in time, and herO's just... It's his game to lose at this point. He's done so much damage to Snute economically, he hasn't really needed to engage the army at all.
Yep, Snute is down in the dumps economy-wise, and he's producing non-stop Zerglings right now. So Snute, he recognizes he's far, far behind. 34 drone losses is so massive, and he's not going to try to rebuild it. He knows that he needs to go for a gamble to get back in this game. He's going to produce non-stop units, and he's going to hope that herO pushes, overextends into him, and he's going to try and just wrap around, crush one army. That is his one potential way back into this game.
Speaking of army crushing, herO is going for one of the most exciting unit compositions in the game. Disruptor and Blink going to go down here.
I think Snute may have accidentally moved his Revelation Zerglings next to his other army and shown off the size of his army there. I don't think herO is going to commit now. I think this may have been a rather large blunder from Snute. Now herO just playing very carefully. He sees there's not a lot of workers out, and he's just going to set up some stasis wards, zone around the map. Snute's going for the big engagement. A Blink forwards, maybe a little bit getting ahead of himself there. Nice Disruptor shot lands, takes out 3 Ravagers. The Zerglings are getting a good wraparound though.
Yeah, they're absolutely getting some of these high-cost gas units, and Snute is starting to do some damage here, and herO's army got shaved a lot there. So did Snute's, though. Stasis done now for these Zerglings, so the Stalkers can finish them, well, I guess finish the ones that are still left off. And yeah, the aggressive Blink forward, a staple, really, of herO's play, has worked out very well and very badly for him in the past.
Yeah.
And this case worked out decently enough for Snute to get himself back in the game. He is still down quite a bit in worker supply, though.
It's still an insurmountable economic lead. It was a good fight for Snute, but he needed a great fight. He's still so far behind on economy. He's really only got one more engage left in him, and it's all going to be about just getting a 6 around, somehow dodging the disruptor shots perfectly. And even with that, it's going to be near impossible against herO's Blink Micro to take this down.
Absolutely. Going to be very, very tough for Snute here, but can he do it? I've seen some crazy things in StarCraft. That'll definitely be one of them. Corrosive Pile's going down. Actually, Corrosive Pile, his own Ravager at the back there. And herO still with his very punchy, extremely powerful robotic units. The Disruptors and the Immortals left alive here, ready for the next attack. The Oracle's picking off Ravagers as well. Things going from bad to worse for Snute. He's making lings, he's doing what he can. herO's units have +2 attack versus the +1 attack with these Zerglings. They hit so very hard. Snute getting a nice surround Disruptor Ball coming in, killing his own Stalkers. Bit of a miss hit, but this one a little bit better for herO, but Snute is actually starting to... Oh! This big hit on the Ravagers is going to be it, sealing the deal. herO getting the series 2-1.
To some of you watching out there, it may have looked like herO was playing with his food a little bit towards the end there, but when you're that far ahead, it is not a question necessarily of him being infinitely better than Snute. It was just the fact that he got himself in such a nice position, just played that out perfectly from ahead, and it really all came down to that beautiful Stasis Ward double combo with the Adepts right there. It looked like Snute was defending, but in the end, herO was too good. He managed to find his way into the worker lines, shredded the economy, and got that advantage that he was looking for.
That's right, and the golden boy of Intel Extreme Masters continues his reign of terror here in Poland, IEM Katowice.
His first ever tournament win was IEM Singapore back in 2013,
yeah.
I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
We were both there, actually.
Yeah.
That was the first time we cast together, actually.
And he's just had such a history with it since then, of course. He would love to make it through to another finals here at Katowice after his very unfortunate defeat at the hands of SOS a few years ago. But a very good start to his run here. So
Absolutely. Great explosive start for Group A. More games to come. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to get the winners interview and head over to the guys at the desk. See you soon. Don't go away.
Our first match of the day was herO versus Snute, and it is herO that comes out on top with the 2-1 victory. So first of all, herO, congratulations. This is the first time we're seeing you here at IEM Katowice, so it must feel really good to start off with a win. 일단 이제 첫 경기에서 2대1로 이겼는데 일단 시작을 이기는 걸로 시작하니까 기분 좋을 것 같은데 소감 대해서 얘기해 주세요.
네. 일단 첫 단추를 잘 끼우게 돼서 되게 좋고, 그리고 저그전이 좀 힘들었는데 최근에 저그전 일단 이기고 시작해서 마음이 좀 한결 편한 것 같아요.
So he says it feels really good to start my run here at the tournament with a win. That obviously feels really great. And recently I've actually been struggling with my PvZ, so to win in a PvZ actually feels really, really good, and so I'm feeling really great about that. So let's talk about this series with Snute. It was a 2-1, so I'm wondering, in the second map that you lost, did that affect just the momentum of how you were playing at all? Did that catch you off guard? 이제 그 스누트 선수와 이 두 번째 경기를 졌는데 그 경기 때문에 좀 당황을 하셨는지.
네, 실제로 많이 당황했고, 제가 생각하지 못한 타이밍에 저글링이 오는 바람에 입구를 안 막고 있어서 좀 어이없게 지는 바람에 멘탈이 나갈 뻔했는데, 이제 스누트가 좀 너무 안정적으로 하는 경향이 있어서 제가 빌드빨로 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요. 3세트도.
So he says, definitely I was completely caught off guard in that second map, and he came at a timing with his Zerglings that I haven't experienced or expected before, so I just wasn't prepared at all, and when his Zerglings flooded in, it really, really shook me up, and it would have affected me in the third map, but I thought to myself, I knew that Snute plays very safe, so I decided to play with that a little bit, and that's how I chose my build order for that third map. Now, moving forward, your next opponent is going to be ryung, who, despite being a very, very good player, you've recently beaten him in the GSL, so does that give you some confidence? 일단 다음 선수가 이제 김동훈 선수인데 되게 잘하는 선수이긴 하지만 최근 이겼으니까 자신감 있으세요?
근데 또 동원이 형이 요새 나날이 성장하고 있어서 또 그때 동원이 형이랑 지금 동원이 형은 다르기 때문에 네, 방심하지 말고 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
He says, well, definitely, I mean, I did win against him, but honestly, he's doing so well now, and he's improving at such a crazy rate. The ryung that I beat from back then, the ryung now is totally different, so I think that I'll just have to stay focused 100% and hopefully show my best game. So congratulations again, herO, and best of luck in your next match. And guys, with that, it'll be our 3-time IEM champion that wins our first match of the day.
Thank you very much, Smix. That's right. The Intel Extreme Masters King basically moves on to his next game with a victory. So, to start things off here at the desk, of course, we do have a series that currently Rotterdam is in. I believe that is Bjorn versus Marine, correct?
That is correct. We're currently in game number 2. It's being played on Belgium Vestige since people like it at home. Let's jump into my game real quick just to show you guys that right now there isn't too much going on. Bjorn went for a fast expand. herO Marine tried to open up with 3 Reapers and Hellions. Unfortunately for him, he lost 2 Reapers, didn't really get anything done. Let's see if this little poke from Bjorn can get something done over here while he has a Cyclone as well. Oh, that winner mine!
Oh, no. No, I'm not commenting.
Why wouldn't you give it to us? Well, good defense here by herO Marine. To sum it up game number 1 a little bit, as this game is obviously going to go on for quite some time, herO Marine played very, very well on Newkirk. At one point, I really thought he was ahead. He had more workers, even in army supply. Had 3 CCs. Bjorn only had 2. He killed 24 SCVs or so, and I was like, oh my god, herO Marine is on fire. Is he doing this? Is he actually beating the WCS champion over here? But then Bjorn just went for a massive drop in the main, and herO Marine was a tiny bit out of position. And I must say, with every minute that passes, I feel Bjorn is starting to play better and better. The first 2 games, he missed a couple of pickups. It was very uncharacteristic, because normally, if there is one thing you can never fault Bjorn for, is his micro. It's godlike. But just a tank pickup, tiny bit too late. Cyclone, like I see that he's looking at it, and he wants to pick it up in the last second, but just a tiny bit too late. So he looked a little sloppy. Maybe he's still waking up, but I feel he's getting closer and closer to the Bjorn we all know and love.
I would say so. So what we saw there from herO and Snute, Todd, you managed to catch a lot of that last game.
Told you it was going to be a cracker, right?
A corker, mate. A corker.
We saw a lot of attacks from both players. It was a little bit strange, actually, because there seemed to be some uncharacteristic mistakes, but I feel like it's a meta-heavy thing where like both players are trying to really like mind game each other super hard, and I guess herO got the better of things. Even in that one game that he lost, actually, that Warp Prism hadn't died, and he had been able to reinforce with a big round of adepts. He might have been able to actually win that one, even after the Ling run by in game number 2. But herO just a little too solid for Snute there, who definitely put up a little bit of a fight.
Snute in good spirits, though, towards the end of that. So for now, we can head to a break, and when we are back, more action here from Group A of the Intel Extreme Masters very soon.